All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Detroit Lions in today's video. Now stay with me because this is not as bad as it seems. Frank Ragland just unfortunately retired. That is very unfortunate. All right, 29 years old, all-pro center, and it just sucks. You just lost an all-pro center at 29 years old, and it's June 2nd. Now, I'm a Packers fan, so I don't know how you guys feel. I'm a little PO'd. I think that is honestly, it is June 2nd, and training camp it's a little less than 2 months away, but I don't know. I hope Detroit knew about this, and they probably, hopefully, really did, because Tate Radledge that was selected in the second round, left guard from the University of Georgia, but that's the thing. He played guard in college. Now, usually what happens is you see a lot of tackles move into guard. Sometimes you see guards move into center. So the offensive line does fluctuate because you're looking for like certain traits, right? Certain variables, and they like Tate at center, and I do too. He's 24 years old. Like, he had a ton of experience at college, and especially being a center, I think he could come in and be totally fine. But it does suck because you lost an all-pro center, and I know this is beginning to sound redundant, but I want to talk about Detroit a little bit off the dome. I had just woken up. It's way too late in the day for me to tell you what time it is. And I'm seeing way too much negativity all offseason, actually, from the Detroit Lions fan base and everybody on Twitter. And I'm not saying my YouTube videos or anything like that, but so many people outside of the Detroit fan base think they're complete and utter frauds. And now it's kind of leaking into Lions fans thinking like, were we actually frauds? Was the 15-2 season last year, was that a one and done situation? Right? Because Ben Johnson is gone. Aaron Glenn is gone. Well, I want to tell you from a Green Bay Packers stance. You guys know I always try and keep it a buck on this channel. I've had a very good Lions following this entire offseason. We haven't made enough Lions videos, and I do apologize, but it's so negative out there. And I want to tell you the cold, hard truth, like I did when you lost in the playoffs. Ben Johnson was way too cute. Like, in football. He was way too cute. It was ridiculous. You run the damn ball, man. You go back and you watch that film, you watch that tape, and it pisses you off. And like I said, I have a little bit more of an affiliation to Detroit because I've got a whole side of my family born and raised in the city of Detroit, and my whole family still lives there. A lot of my family still lives there. So I do have an affiliation to Detroit sports, and I've been to Ford Field numerous times. I've got bobbleheads and I've got jerseys. Like, I've got a Roy Williams jersey. I like the Detroit Lions, all right? Ben Johnson needed to run the ball. And you shouldn't go back and watch it, but if you do want to go back and watch that full game, 55-23, you're going to be upset because you're going to say, wow, I just spent this whole offseason being pissed off that we lost all of our coordinators, when in reality, all Detroit needed to do against a rookie quarterback was run the ball. Run the damn ball. And defensively, I don't think Aaron Glenn particularly called the best game because they had so many guys on IR. Detroit had a historical number of defensive players on IR or done for the season or, banged up. Doesn't matter what their injury designation was. So many guys were banged up, right? Aiden Hutchinson missed the whole season. But Aaron Glenn called that football game as if he had Aiden Hutchinson, as if he had this fully healthy defense. He's throwing blitzes at Jaden Daniels, trying to get him confused, trying to get him to see ghosts like Sam Darnold in New York. But Jaden Daniels can run. And you don't want to blitz you don't want to blitz a top three, even as a rookie, mobile quarterback, when you have nobody on the backside, you have nobody on the line. Like, they just didn't. I don't think Aaron Glenn, I don't know. I that game was really annoying, to just be quite honest with you. So when you put all of this in hindsight, and I think Ben Johnson's a cool dude, and I'm very curious if he's going to be a leader of man, because to be honest with you, and I don't really particularly love the Chicago Bears, even though I'm born and raised there. I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. Can he do it? Is he a leader of men? I'm not necessarily sure, because in my view, he really let the Detroit Lions franchise down. I viewed it as a job interview. I really thought those comments months ago, because it's June. So when was this game? Like 5 months ago? I really thought people who were saying this 5 months ago were out of their minds. I thought there was no way, shape, or form Ben Johnson was calling a game with the future in mind. But when you go back and you watch it, that's exactly what happened. And maybe I just mean it's just too cute. Just run the gosh darn football, dude. So if John Morton, the brand new offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions next season, can run the football, Detroit is still one of the best teams in the entire National Football League. And I will be honest with you, Philly's got a loaded roster, and they rightfully so won the Super Bowl, so they're going to be number one in the NFC. All right, hopefully you guys understand that. Detroit's number two. Like, Detroit, with or without Frank Ragnow, is still number two. That's how good this team is. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, still got really good tackles, still got one of the best, if not the best, right tackle in the entire National Football League. You've got Christian Mahogany, who just in brief moments in his rookie season really flashed a bunch. I know there's some skepticism with these new coordinators for this season, but I'm telling you, they've got the cogs to make it right, obviously, going 15-2. The wide receiver room is really interesting to me. Isaac Tesla, I haven't even really talked too much about Isaac Tesla. I was going to make a whole YouTube video about him on my Lions channel, but I haven't done that in way too long. I'm a little too much on my plate right now. But anyways, Isaac Tesla, people were making fun of Brad Holmes left and right, saying this guy was projected to go undrafted in a lot of people's big boards. I don't really care, man. When you watch Isaac Tesla play, it's a little bit more evident why he was selected where he was selected. I mean, the guy catches every single ball thrown his way. And when you look at the defensive line, you've got Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, Ali McNeil, Davenport, Josh Paschal, Tyleek Williams, the rookie, Levi Onwuzurike is still there. I know I'm missing somebody, but I can't think of them. Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes holding down the linebacker room. Terrion Arnold flashed in his rookie season. Brian Branch is rapidly ascending into star safety. Kirby Joseph rapidly ascending into star safety. DJ Reed brought in from the New York Jets, a lockdown cornerback. Amik Robertson just had a phenomenal end to his Detroit Lions first season. So maybe Detroit probably doesn't go 15-2 because that is a really crazy season. And you don't see 15-2 too often. But I am telling you this. I don't think Detroit has lost any type of sense. And it would not shock me in the slightest if, yeah, maybe Detroit could go 11-6 next season. Maybe they'll go 12-5, something around probably 10-13 wins, and they'll probably be somewhere in the middle of that. I think it'll be a lot more efficient, and I think it'll be, maybe not as exciting of a product where you're watching Jahmyr Gibbs, you're watching Ben Johnson's cute little plays in the regular season. It might not be, as crazy like that, but I do think from a fan's perspective, it's going to be a lot more easygoing, and you're going to be a lot more confident with your football team. All right. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I really do apologize. I haven't made a Lions video in way too long. I've been really dropping the ball on YouTube in general. So thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Frank Ragnow retiring. And if you guys want to give me a loose win-loss projection for Detroit next season, let me know down below. Peace.